Jason, Clear Creek Farm, how we doing? We got a couple animals we sold that will be shipping this week, and we have to tattoo them. So I'm going to show you two different ways to tattoo an animal. There's a couple different ways you can tattoo animals. There's one way I like to do it and the other way I don't. The way I don't usually like to use is this. It's a clamp thing. It has these little letters that go in here, and you put them in there. You got to make sure they're all in there right before you clamp the animal. With us, the problem we run into, our herd prefix, which is a number assigned to us to put in each goat's ear that's tied to our scrapie tag numbers and to the association, 3 letters and 2 numbers. If you're going to put your herd prefix on when you start with the ABGA, try to go with 4 because it helps you out a lot, especially if you have to use one of these clampers. If you don't and use this other way, you don't have to worry about it. The other way is a KBTat gun. It's basically a tattoo gun that's specifically made for actually rabbits. But we use this because it makes it so much easier to do. It takes a little bit longer, but you can actually read the tattoos really good. The other thing you have to have, even if you're using this or the other, if you're using the clamper, you need some type of ink, and I have green and I have black. What I do with the clamper, I actually roll it onto the goat's ear, then I'll clamp it, and with our number being 5 letter or 5 digits or numbers, you want to call it, I have to clamp the right ear twice. The left ear will only be a number and a letter. So then I'll clamp the other one. The biggest thing that's really hard to do with the clamper, you got to make sure that you put them into the clamper right, because if you don't, you end up having problems because they're backwards or they're not lined up right. I'll show you guys that. I'm going to go get one of the animals and bring it in here, and then I'll take and walk you through each of the 2 procedures. So this is Cookies and Cream. She was actually sold to a lady out in New Mexico. So I got to tattoo her ears so that way she's legal to be shipped. So the first thing we're going to do, her right ear, we're going to tattoo CCF 42 in. Her left ear is J8. So we'll tattoo that in here. I'll show you guys how I put these in the thing. First things first we'll do is take a little paper towel here. I do have some rubbing alcohol. I will take and dip this cloth in, and I'll wipe off her ears because one makes it a little cleaner and sanitary. Do that to both ears so it has time to dry up here. And then I will get the numbers around and I'll show you that. Like I said before, her tattoo for her right ear, which both of these goats will be for the right ear, would be CCF 42. That's our herd prefix. Her other one is J8. But I'm going to show you, I ended up putting CCF in here because I can't put the whole 5 digits in there. And I'm going to show you a good way to check and see if you actually have them in there right. Because I don't know if you can see that, but they're backwards in there. So when you get something you can punch into, cardboard or something, you put them in there, which you can see CCF is in there. I'll do the same thing when I do the 42 and the J8. I want to make sure this is correct because you only got one chance to do it. On her, I'm going to use green ink because green usually shows up better. So first thing first, we want to make sure this is shook up really good. Like I said, I've already took and made sure I wiped her down with rubbing alcohol. So right here on the inside, I want to make sure, because I got to have come back in here and put that 42. I want to make sure I put the ink in here good enough where I can get to both parts. And you only have a one-time chance to do this right. So make sure you do it right the first time, because if not, you're going to end up sending back paperwork in to get the ABGA to redo them, and that's no fun. This here, she'll jump and she won't like it, but you want to make sure you do it hard and you want to make sure you do it good. Because like I said, you only have one chance. I like, after I took and put the imprint in there, I don't know if you guys can see that, I like to go back in there and put some more ink over top of it, because that's how you're going to get it to soak in. We'll let that soak in there for a minute. And I'll come back and I'll wipe it off with alcohol. So I put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on this again. Now I'm going to wipe this off and you'll be able to see the tattoo in there. She will bleed a little bit, but if you can see it in there, not for sure if you can or not. Let's see. So now we got the CCF in there. Now we'll do the 42. I like adding a little extra ink on that, especially if it's bleeding a little bit, because that'll get it to soak in. So now I'll set up the clamper for 42. See how that is backwards? That's what I was talking about. I wasn't for sure if you could see that in the first time I tried to show you. Now I'm going to show you putting the 42 in. So basically all you do is loosen this thing up. You flip it over. Oops. Them slide out. Don't lose them, because once you lose them, you don't have them. Now we're going to do the 42. So remember, it's backwards. So we want to put the 4 there. Then 2, which that should be right. And we will go in here and clamp this on here. Oops, see? We did it backwards. That's 24. We don't want 24. We want 42. So we'll go back in here. Find a clean place to clamp again. Now we have 42. I can't really see that, so I'll show you a different spot here. See, now we got a 42. That's what we wanted. We needed a 42. This ain't that hard to use, and it's not that bad. I just don't like using it because it's a little bit more painful on the animals, I think. Now we got to get this 42 down here on the other side of this. If you take a flashlight, you could actually shine it up through here. You might not be able to see the indentions very good, but you can shine a flashlight up in here and you can actually read them. So first things first, let's get some ink in here. Got some ink in there. I'll make sure we got that 42 right. take and rub some more ink in there. Actually, I might re-ink this whole area again, just because them other ones are still seeping a little bit. So, don't hurt none to actually have a little extra ink in there. Not for sure how much of that you can see, but you can see the CCF 42. She is bleeding a little bit, but that ain't gonna hurt her much. But that's how we tattoo using the pinch gun. Now I'm gonna do the other ear with the J8. So I'm gonna show you guys again that I'm checking it to make sure I did the right number. We got a J and an 8. So now we're all set to go. We already took and did some alcohol on this. So we'll get the J and a little bit of ink here. Put the J and the 8 in there. Soak that down a little bit more with some ink. Hopefully my arm ain't in the way. We'll let that dry for a second here while I put this top back on. Some rubbing alcohol here. And there you go. Do that. J. Like I said before, this is not the way we usually like to do them, but I wanted to show you guys 2 different ways that you can tattoo animals. Like I said before, these clamps are not what we really like to use, because one, you can't see the tattoo as good as when you use the tattoo pen. But I'm going to show you guys the difference here in a minute. I'm going to take this goat back to her pen. I'm going to go grab the buck that I'm shipping and show you how I tattoo the buck with the tattoo pen. So on this guy, we're going to use the KBTatts pen to tattoo him. And I'll show you guys how to do that. Do the same thing as what I did on the last animal. Wipe down their ear with some alcohol, make sure it's all good and clean on both sides. This is going to be CCF 42 on his right ear, J10 on his left ear. Like I showed you before, this is the KBTatts Pen. It runs on batteries. It's basically a vibrating toothbrush, and this actually is made by a young lady. I'm not for sure where she's out of. Her dad was a tattoo artist. She had rabbits, and she was trying to find a way to tattoo the rabbits and make it easier, and she came up with this idea. It works great for the goats. So I have this little marker here. I'm going to write CCF 42 on here. Sometimes this is easier. Sometimes it seems like it's harder, but it ends up looking way better when you take and use the tattoo pen. I got the ink here in an egg carton because I don't have no more of their little things. I did dip this in rubbing alcohol before I started using it. Now I got the ink on here. Now I'm going to try to follow my outlines here. Got 1C. You don't want to push too hard. You want to let the little needles do their work. You want to go over them a couple times. Make sure you get plenty of ink in there. So make sure you get plenty of ink. Go over these lines. Sometimes they like to move around. But like I said, you don't want to push in on this. You just want to let these little needles do their job. Actually, doing these younger is better, because then you don't have to worry about their horns. Now we do the 4. You can see that? There's the 4. Now we'll do the 2. The biggest part is getting them to hold still long enough. With him, he probably needs his head brought up a little bit higher. Keep him a little bit more still. There you go. Now he can't flop his head around as much. Like I said before, if you can go with a shorter herd prefix, it is better, because that means less numbers and letters you got to tattoo in their ears. Yes, the clamp is way quicker, but I think this looks better and easier to read when it's all said and done with. I'll let that side dry in there before I wipe it off with alcohol. Sometimes you need to go back over top of them. I'm going to show you the other side. That other side is going to be J10. So I'm going to write the J10 in here. It's hard to get in here and show you on the camera. There, I got the J, 1 and 0. Gives me lines to go by. I am going to go back and review and make sure that it is J10 for this side before I take. So I did go back and review, made sure on my paperwork it did say J10. I have them on my phone, so I had to go back and look at it first. But it is J10. As I said before, you don't have to push. More, you're letting the needles do their work. You can see the J there. Let's do the 1. A little more ink. Hopefully my shoulder ain't blocking the camera. I can't really see very good right now. So now we got the J10 in there. That will stay pretty much that bright once I wipe it off. I will wipe it off, see how it is, and then redo it if I need to redo it. But I'm going to wipe off the other side, show you how that one looked. And then if I got to go back and touch it up, I'll go back and touch it up. See, now you got the CCF 42. So now you got that CCF 42 in there. Sit there for a little bit. I will wipe it off with the alcohol. Sometimes it comes out pretty easy, sometimes it don't. And black ears, sometimes they're hard to see in general, but I don't see no spots that I missed in his. CCF 42. So I don't see no spots that are not legible, and that's what it needs to be. It's just legible. So that side is good. Now we'll go wipe off the other side and see if there's anything on the J10 that we need to do. Color of his ear, it's kind of hard to see. And as I said before, it's kind of hard to see, but it is there. It's the J10 right there. So let's go over the pros and cons between the tattoo pen and the clamp. Clamp is easier, yes. You can't really see the tattoos that good. You have to use a flashlight. The thing with a pen, you can go in there with green ink or something like that and tattoo on a black ear, and you still should be able to read it. The tattoo pen takes a little bit longer, but like I said, you can read it. If you need to go back over with the tattoo pen, at least you can. With the clamp, once you clamp them, it's hard to line up them clamps again, and you do not want a double tattoo. At least with the tattoo pen, I can go back in there, flip up his ear, and tattoo it again if I need to. So that's the difference between the tattoo pen and the tattoo clamp. So you'll have to decide what is best for you. I will link below for the tattoo pen from KBTatts. Just remember, when you go to order from KBTatts, if this is what you decide to do, it does take a little bit of time for them to get them out because, like I said, it's a young lady that I think is still in school and stuff, makes these pens. With her dad's help because he owns a tattoo place. So just remember that it's not that quick to get it unless they've updated since I've done it quite a while ago. So thank you guys for coming along with me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't, go down there and subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. Only a few more subscribers away. So thank you guys for coming along. See you on the next video and have a great day.